zinaenda kubox.
Listen, hakuna mwanamke asha participate kwa underground fights.
Mimi ndiye nitakuwa first. Meleta rent.
Unafikiri naweza chukua hizi chapa?
Welcome to Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Joroge. Here we are in a sauna. Sauna treatments form part of self-care, especially for people with issues of aching joints and unexplained tiredness. It is always recommended that you seek medical attention even as you undergo therapy. When heat treatments are applied, there is an increase in the body temperature, causing the whole body to be affected. Dilation of the blood capillaries occurs. This helps the blood to increase the transport of nutrients all over the body, enhancing good health. The maximum temperature that the body can tolerate varies according to the type of sauna. Dry sauna air holds less heat than a steam bath, and body sweat is able to evaporate fast, thus cooling the skin. This enables the body to tolerate a high temperature. Consider getting a sauna treatment whenever you feel completely worn out or exhausted, or if you need to release tension from your muscles. Sauna treatments are especially good as distressing treatments. The use of oils such as eucalyptus oil is very helpful in helping to soothe and ease the muscles. In this case, this is called aromatherapy. Blood pressure drops as the surface capillaries and vessels widen up, causing more blood supply around the body. When these treatments are carried out in conjunction with other health measures, it is possible to heal and treat certain conditions under directions from your doctor. This has been a most invigorating therapy. When you're in the sauna, you sweat it all out. All the toxins in your body are released, and the touch of eucalyptus oil makes it all the more refreshing. This has been Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Joroge.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hii ya Romans chapter 8 verse 39, bonyeza star 811 star 965 hash.
No power in the sky above or in the earth below, indeed, nothing in all creation will ever be able to separate us from the love of God that is revealed in Jesus Christ our Lord. Romans chapter 8 verse 39.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hii ya Romans chapter 8 verse 39, bonyeza star 811 star 965 hash.
My name is Muhammad Ahmed Muhammad, the CEO of Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation, popularly known as KDIC. The corporation recently increased the protected sum from the previous 100,000 shillings to 500,000 shillings per account. This is the highest in sub-Saharan Africa. In effect, the corporation now covers 99% of the depositors in the unlikely event of a closure of a bank. So KDIC encourages the depositors to continue doing business with our banks that are strong and resilient.
Be sure, Check out for a KDIC sticker in your banking hall. KDIC, protecting your deposits.
Good evening and welcome to Sunday Express. We have a detailed coverage of the Jamhuri Day celebrations that happened today at the Uhuru Gardens, including President Uhuru Kenyatta's call to the country to reimagine the future. We have details lined up for you tonight. Here are the highlights.
The future evaded us because we failed to imagine it. And I say so because imagination is more powerful than knowledge.
It is a duty for all. President Uhuru Kenyatta urges Kenyans to help in fighting corruption as he leads the nation in marking the 2021 Jamhuri Day celebrations.
Nipatia mawaidha Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga, nasema asante sana.
Hailing the opposition leader, President lauds Raila Odinga for choosing to work with him. And a nation on the right track. Leaders commend the president for his desire of inclusion. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Byron Abuli. My name is John Jacob Kioria. For the next 40 minutes or so, let me tell you what has been happening around the country. To start us off, President Uhuru Kenyatta has implored on Kenyans and leaders to support government in the fight against corruption for the country to achieve shared prosperity and development. Speaking at the Uhuru Gardens during the Jamhuri Day celebrations, the head of state reminded Kenyans how Kenya was lending South Korea money in 1963, attributing its slow pace of development to corruption. And as Kevin Oshira now reports, the president wants every Kenyan to imagine the future they want for Kenya and work towards the prosperous vision.
President Uhuru Kenyatta attended his last Jamhuri Day celebration as head of state at Uhuru Gardens, donned in ceremonial military attire. His speech giving a special focus on the significance of Uhuru Gardens that was once known as Langata concentration camp.
So by creating this garden as a place of remembrance, our founding fathers wanted generations to recall the darkness of our colonial past, but not to be stuck in the pessimism that dark memories can breed. They wanted us to turn darkness into positive energy, the way they did it in concentration camps. Instead of breaking down in the camps and breaking down because of colonial brutality, they only became stronger. But there are other reasons also why our founding fathers brought us to this place of national remembrance. Each time we gather here, they wanted us to face our national fears and demons with courage. More so because no condition can be considered permanent.
The head of state calling on Kenyans to renew the soul of the nation and approach the future with the same spirit the freedom fighters had 58 years ago. The president regretted how Kenya was ahead of several current Asian giants in 1963, urging every Kenyan rethink the country's future.
Why were we unable to develop as fast as those did? This future did not happen because we failed to plan for it. The future evaded us because we failed to imagine it. And I say so because imagination is more powerful than knowledge. For the past to have an impact on our future, we must constantly imagine and reimagine it. Indeed, as we envision the future, we are also reminded that in 8 years' time, our economic blueprint, that is the Kenya Vision 2030, will have run its course. By then, Kenya will be home to a projected 63 million citizens. And as Kenya turns 100 in the year 2063, we will be home to 100 million citizens. For us to secure the elusive shared prosperity and intergenerational equity, we must be bold in our imagination of Kenya at 100.
Meanwhile, President Kenyatta announced that power tariffs will go down by 15% beginning this month. This as the head of state revealed that the government was setting up a museum at the Uhuru Gardens that will capture the history on struggle for liberation as well as celebrate the achievements and the journey the nation has made. Kevin Washira, Channel 1 News.
At the same time, President Uhuru Kenyatta has acknowledged the development efforts that Kenya has realized after the famous handshake with Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga. The head of state rooting for the former premier's advice that led to the government embarking on the renovations of the iconic Uhuru Gardens Memorial Park, which hosted this year's Jamhuri Day celebrations.
Addressing the nation during this year's Jamhuri Day celebrations at the refurbished Uhuru Gardens Memorial Park, President Uhuru Kenyatta noted former Prime Minister Raila Odinga's input in nation building and advice contributing to the realization of government projects.
Tumekuwa tukiongea na yeye kutoka miezi karibu 14 wakati nilianza hii project ya Uhuru Gardens, ambayo tumetembea na yeye hapa sana na amenipatia mawaidha. Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga, nasema asante sana kwa yale ambayo umetusaidia kutenda.
The head of state noting the gains of the March 2018 handshake and assuring Kenyans that the Building Bridges Initiative Constitutional Amendment Bill is a dream deferred that remains alive.
Just as the country cannot survive ethnic majoritarianism and exclusion, just in the same breath, it cannot survive unfair and skewed representation. This is a design defect and we must fix it.
ODM leader Raila Odinga lauded the president for his prominent role in preserving the country's memories and national treasures, citing Uhuru Gardens Memorial Park as an example.
And here, Your Excellency, you say that you want history unedited here. People will come to know who Wayaki Wahinga was, who Haridhuku was, and so many of those our heroes here.
Yusufar reporting for Sunday Express.
A section of political leaders have lauded the speech by President Uhuru Kenyatta, saying the country must remain united for any meaningful development. The leaders called on Kenyans to embrace the spirit of selflessness and patriotism that characterized the country's struggle for independence.
The president spoke more of the history, where we came from, and a lot of the achievements which he has made in his government, and at the same time appealing to Kenyans that never before shall we go to conflict in our democracy. The handshake matter came up again. As you can see that there is goodwill among leaders. The leaders, party leaders came, those who are here, at least we saw them. So I'm just saying that the Kenyans should continue to heed what I said earlier. Be proud of yourselves. Celebrate your 58 years well.
It just made me feel like I am in Kenya, that we need to be one people. We need to bring all people together. And the best thing is the rallying call. Let us be one people. Let us build a nation, and not a group of ethnic groups. We have a history of good times and bad times, and that should make us learn what we do in future. So our future must be informed by what history we went through. It's very, very important, so that as we go forward, we know we never repeat the same mistakes.
Peaceful coexistence, and actually articulate the issue which is in the Constitution, that our diversity should be our strength as a country. That indeed we appreciate and acknowledge that we are diverse, but that should be our strength as opposed to the cause for division and animosity.
The president made sure in every sector of this country he has touched his hand. He has tried to revive. He has tried to reform. And I know we will judge him so harshly about corruption, but indeed we have let him down also. And it is for us to now ask ourselves, as we move forward, are we able to remove the animal of corruption from our country?
For the second time in the modern Kenya, Uhuru Gardens played host to Jamhuri celebrations in colors, epitomizing Kenya's long-held history. Kenyans of all walks trooping to the venue in captivating African regalia, a testament of diversity that makes this nation great. This being the trooping of color mounted by the 19th Battalion of the Kenya Rifles.
Patriotic songs fill the air. Kenyans donned in African regalia, trooping to Uhuru Garden for the 57th Jamhuri Day celebrations. Security forces on standby and some on horses to ensure everything was a success. Interior PS Karanja Kibicho even taking charge to make sure security was at its peak. But the hallmark of all was the COVID-19 preventive measures put in place at the venue due to 11,000 people invited to the celebration, each required to adhere to the guidelines. Gates at the venue were well marked, and even dropping of invited guests designed to fit the status in society. Some having to endure with a walk to the sitting areas. KBC, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, capturing the historic moment, covering the head of state from his departure from State House, Nairobi, to the venue. The event kicking off with the consecration of the trooping of Kailis, mounted by the 19th Battalion of the Kenya Rifles. The Kailis symbolize the spirit of the regiment in the defense of Kenyan territorial integrity. The event was not complete without the display of the mighty flag post by the Kenya Air Force.
Ya juu inafahamika kama vertical roll. Summit rope anatua sehemu aliyotengewa jump master.
The guests were also treated to a great performance by top Kenyan singers.
Kenani baba, Kenani mama, umenichunga na kupenda sana. Jamhuri Day, kila kitu sawa.
And indeed, Kenya was celebrating the 57th Jamhuri Day celebrations. On this date at night, the Kenyan flag was hoisted and the Union Jack brought down in this historic garden, the Uhuru Garden. As we mark the 57th Jamhuri Day, the President continues to remind us that the nation is not a destination, but rather a journey that is not a sprint, but a relay. Serfine for Sunday Express.
The pomp and color of Jamhuri Day celebrations. Now, 6 Kenyans who have made exemplary contributions to the pride of this nation in their fields were honored Sunday at the Jamhuri Day celebrations. The 6 included the sports greats like Perez Chepchirchir, who lifted the Kenyan flag at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics Marathon, and Dr. Kwale Simon, who has led the country in the war against the COVID-19 pandemic, among others.
The 6 were awarded different honors. The chairperson of the Task Force on Vaccine Deployment and Vaccination, Dr. Willis Ahwale, honored with the Elder of Order of Burning Spear, EBS, for his efforts in helping the government strengthen the country's effort against COVID-19.
Under his leadership, the country has administered over 8 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines. He has also coordinated the receipt of over 10 million assorted vaccines from the COVAX program and other donors.
Engineer Kishan Singh, founder Intex Construction Limited, for donating a tarmac making machine of 128 tons capacity per hour to the Nairobi Metropolitan, also got the same honor.
This plant has greatly assisted in the tarmacking of roads in Nairobi to improve transport infrastructure in the city of Nairobi.
The greats in sport, Peres Chepchirchir, who lifted Kenyan flag high at the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Marathon, repeating the same performance at the 2021 New York City Marathon, was awarded the Order of the Grand Warrior of Kenya, with compatriot Faith Kipyegon, who defended her 2020 Tokyo Olympics 1,500 meters, setting a new Olympics record, also receiving the same award.
The national anthem of Kenya was played as the world listened due to her heroic victory.
The same award went to Sergeant Salim Mohammed, who on 3rd of September 2020, during the capture of Kismayu, despite being shot 5 times in his leg, managed to save lives of his colleague and also managed to save the service vehicle from the enemy despite heavy gunfire.
They encountered an improvised explosive device attack and heavy gunfire from the enemy. One of the vehicles lost control, while in another vehicle, he proceeded to the scene to save his colleagues.
The last honor went to Corporal Ali Shitialo Ramadan, who managed to survive for 6 days after an attack in Boni Forest on the 18th of May in 2021.
He is awarded the Silver Star of Kenya for bravery and self-sacrifice.
For Sunday Express, I'm Zainab Said.
We're taking a breather. When we come back, we have more coverage about the Jamhuri Day celebrations and indeed the COVID-19 status in the country, and later on, the sports.
Sir, do you have any known enemies?
It's that girl. She's up to no good. I don't know why he keeps on saying that the business is as good as dead. And look at these accounts. They are flourishing. My husband is full of surprises.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
Welcome back. You're watching Sunday Express. In a bit, we'll be telling you about the Africanization agenda for Kenya after being granted internal self-rule or after being given independence. But that will come a little bit later as we continue to prepare that story. But for now, the pomp and color that was at Jamhuri Day, who came, who missed, who was seated how? Here are the pictorials of the celebrations today. You will remember this was the last day or the last Jamhuri Day celebrations under the reign of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, focusing on the COVID-19 situation in the country, Kenya has so far administered a total of 8,169,739 COVID-19 vaccines. Of this, 4,918,051 were partially vaccinated, while those fully vaccinated were 3,251,688. The country on Sunday recorded 201 COVID-19 cases from a sample size of 4,011 tested in the last 24 hours. This translates to a positivity rate of 5%. Total confirmed positive cases now stand at 256,335, and according to the Ministry of Health and the statistics, 2 people succumbed to the disease, all of them being late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits in the month of December 2021. This now pushes the cumulative fatalities to 5,400. That is 5,348. Now, moving on, Western Jurists Forum has endorsed Westlands Member of Parliament Tim Wanyonyi for the Nairobi gubernatorial race in next year's general election. Defense Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa urged leaders from the Luhya community to back political aspirants who are visionary. Details of this and other stories in our county news roundup.
Speaking during the 3rd annual dinner gala of the Western Jurist Forum, Patron Vice President Harriet Shigali and Chief Guest Defense Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa said the Mulembe community will rally behind Westlands Member of Parliament Tim Wanyonyi on his quest to become Nairobi County Governor.
We will need efforts for us to come out, to mobilize registration of voters from wherever we come from, to be able to boost those numbers. The issue of leadership of this country is too serious to be left to a few politicians.
Elsewhere, various environment stakeholders are calling for collective responsibility in environmental conservation. Speaking during a tree planting exercise held at a children's home in Kajiado, Tana and Athi River Development Authority representatives noted that deforestation has been a big setback in sustaining water sources. The tree planting saw at least 200 tree seedlings planted at the Undugu Children's Home in an effort to attain the 30% forest cover by 2030.
An event to teach our peoples that they can be part of the environment, and that regardless of how young they are, that they can form a relationship with the environment. Today we will be planting trees, and for us it's not about planting trees alone, it's about growing trees, because planting trees alone is not enough.
In other news, business communities in Githunguri are counting losses after an overnight fire destroyed most of the shops adjacent to Githunguri Township Primary School. Githunguri Location Chief Stephen Warui said the fire started after midnight and due to lack of fire extinguishers, nothing was salvaged from the shops.
Hapa penye naona tuko hakuna maji. So ilikuwa shida, hakuna penye unaweza chiba mchanga ya kuzima ya moto. Hiyo moto ilikuwa inaendea na jia kasi sana. So watu waliweza kukuja, polisi waliingia na gari za moto zilikuja. Bali shida ni kwa gari ya moto inatoka Ruiro na ingine inatoka Thika. So hakuna venye hiyo watu wangefika hapo on time.
And a section of leaders from pastoralist communities in Laikipia County has resolved to champion for the end of violence against women and girls in the area. The elders made the declaration during a ceremony where 100 girls went through an alternative rite of passage.
Chache wale ambaye wako na wanawake ile mleketwa mbeleni, nasema hatachukua msichana hajaolewa hajakeketwa sababu ile ya kwanza ni mkeketwa. Kwa hivyo sasa hiyo tunabembeleza polepole na watarudi tu.
Finally, a section of the clergy in Busia County is appealing to the government to deploy more psychological counselors in learning institutions and within the National Police Service. World Harvest Church Bishop David Osaniere says swift intervention will help curb cases of school unrest and homicide perpetrated by police officers.
A standard 8 people at Sikura Primary School in Butula constituency, Busia County, is in need of financial aid to undergo a medical operation following a known swelling on his hip. The pupil, who is currently bedridden, can't attend school and is likely to miss his KCP exams if the problem is not attended to. The family is appealing to all wishers for financial aid.
16 years old Crispinas Odhiambo, a Class 8 candidate, is expected to sit for his KCP exam in March next year. But a swelling on his knee has stood on the way between him and the KCP. The swelling worsening every day and making him unable to attend school effectively. Crispinas' life has changed drastically.
Mguu imeanza kunisumbua karibu mwezi wa 6. Ilianza tu kufura kitu kidogo tu. Kadhani itapoa. Kiendelea kufura tu hivi. Ikuwa kubwa hivi. Asiwezi kwenda shule. Shule niliacha kwenda mwezi wa 9. Mpaka sasa bado sijaenda shule.
He now depends on his fellow pupils to take him to and from school. Her mother says lack of funds has been a barrier for his son to seek medical attention.
Wakaniambia nikuwe na shilingi 10,000 alafu wapime waende wapasue hii mguu waone vile wachukue hiyo nyama yenye ika hapa ndani ya mguu wapeleke Kisumu. Sasa hapo naye nilikuja nikashindwa nitatoa wapi pesa.
The head teacher of Sikura Primary School, Dismas Pepela, expressed his fear that the boy might miss out on his final exam if he does not get medical attention on time.
The boy has been trying because at least could manage to get at least 300 marks. So given medication, I think the boy could settle down and do well in his final exam, that is KCP.
Donations can be channeled to Elizabeth Achieng via M-Pesa number 0743602202.
And you can help that family sort out the issues of the gentleman or that child so that he can do his exams, and that's one of the best things he can do this Jamhuri Day. We're taking a breather. When we come back, we have more in terms of sport and of course our future around Kenya's Africanization. Don't go too far.
You know you could be seated there, not knowing you're the newest millionaire in town. Want to know how?
There are billions of unclaimed financial assets held by the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority in the form of security deposits, shares, long-forgotten bank savings, pension money, among others that are waiting for the rightful owners to claim them, and you might be one of them. Stop searching in the wrong places. Visit ufaa.go.ke or dial *361# and find out if there's any unclaimed cash and other financial assets in your name. Labda umeomoka na ujui. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard.
Tell her that, please. I'm calling her now. Please, you need to live. Can you hear me?
Mother.
He called me mother. No, no, I'm not your auntie. I am your mother. Mother. I wish you really were, but you are not my mother.
What the hell is going on?
With you and me together, there's no way we'll lose. This is what someone might call a dream team.
I just want you to be informed, so you make the right choice.
Of course, we still need your opinion.
My opinion?
What happened? This is my family?
It's your father.
Huh? What happened to my dad? Someone help! Someone help, please! Dad, are you okay?
See your mom.
有一段故事建筑一座城堡，回放进去后就不再打。
Kazi yako ni kufuata maagizo, sio kulalama.
Wewe si mamangu, sio? Ni lazima nimepangwa bibi.
Nisikize Badi.
You mean to say you have not missed me?
Kama kuna mahali tumekosea tusamehe, lakini kama ni maonevu basi Mwenyezi Mungu tulipie.
Kutafuta job na hakuna.
Unafikiria mimi nasikiaje? Mimi nimeumia shingo, siwezi hata kufight. Hata wewe unaweza na kubox.
Listen, hakuna mwanamke asha participate kwa underground fights.
Mimi ndiye nitakuwa first. Meleta rent.
Unafikiria naweza chukua hizi chapa?
Let's get into the pitch now. KCB extended their impressive run in the Kenya Premier League this season after humbling visitors Ulinzi Stars 2-0 in a closely contested match played at Utalii grounds in Nairobi. Michael Oduor and Derek Otanga scored for the Bunkers. In other matches, visitors AFC Leopards played to a 1-1 against Vihiga Bullets. Eugene Mukangula scored for Ingwe, while Vihiga Bullets scored in stoppage time from the penalty spot. Gor Mahia were held to a barren draw by visitors Bandari, while Tusker FC were also held to a barren draw by Sofapaka. ...2018 Commonwealth Games bronze medalist Christine Ongare stopped Lensa Akenyi in the first round to win the featherweight category final bout and the last day of the second edition of Jamal Cup boxing tournament in Kisumu County. The tournament was used to select the national team for the Africa Championship and Women World Championship next year.
Ongare proved her prowess against Achieng as she targets to make the cut to the Kenyan team for the Women World Championship in Istanbul, Turkey. In other bouts, Anne Wanjiru humbled Emily Juma in the ladies 50 kilograms category final. Amina Madha saw off Alice Wayego while Beatrice Akoth trounced Perita Refa. In the men's category, Silas Onyango trounced Martin Maina, while David Karanja saw off Moses Kilavuka. David Karanja was voted the best male boxer, while Evelyn Akinyi bagged the ladies' title.
Leo nashukuru God. Ilikuwa poa, although round ya kwanza haikuwa simple. Sijaicheza na South Pole. So nimetake time yangu round ya kwanza, nikasoma game yake, na nikajua venye nitamhandle. Nashukuru God. Ameingia kwa game yangu.
The second edition of the Jamal Cup boxing tournament was used to select the national team for the Africa Championship and Women World Championship. The Africa Championship is slated for January 2022, while the Women World Championship will be held in March in Istanbul, Turkey.
The Kenyan team to the just concluded the Kana Zone 3 Swimming Championship is expected back home tonight after an exemplary performance in the regional gala in Kampala, Uganda. Kenya bagged a total of 90 medals, 35 gold, 19 silver and 36 bronze. Kenya was represented by 30 swimmers in different age group categories. 48 swimmers had initially been picked to travel to Uganda but were trimmed to 30 due to financial constraints. The regional championship brought together swimmers from 11 countries, among them hosts Uganda, Kenya, Sudan, Tanzania, Burundi and Eritrea. Kenya Draughts champion Crispin Odhiambo emerged the overall winner as the curtains came down on the Draughts competition at Mbotela Soshu Hall, Nairobi. Odhiambo walked away with 5,000 shillings after bagging the title.
It was the final tournament of the year with more than 10 teams from all over the country taking part. Kenya champion Crispin Odhiambo was unstoppable, emerging the winner in the final round with 35 points. Kema Musimi from Kitui was second with 34 points, while Steve Giddis from Mombasa settled for the third position with 32 points. The event saw the winner walk away with 15,000 shillings, with the second and third placed players walking away with 4,000 and 3,000 shillings respectively.
Tunajaribu kushirikiana na watu, tuna group yetu ya WhatsApp ambapo tunawasiliana na watu katika sehemu mbalimbali, na wakati kunapokuwa na mchuano wowote tunawajulisha katika kwa mtandao.
Hao players wote wako hapa wako vaccinated, so hiyo ndio mikakati ile tumechukua before mtu akuje kuparticipate kwa tournament. Everybody ako vaccinated na tunaoga mkono na tunatumia mask.
Daniel Mwendwa, Sports.
And now Max Verstappen secured the F1 Drivers' Championship after winning the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on the final lap ahead of rival Lewis Hamilton.
Away we go, and Hamilton gets a decent start and he's already ahead.
For the first time since 1974, two drivers, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, had gone into the final race level on points at the top of the drivers' standings after going wheel-to-wheel for much of an enthralling season. Hamilton appeared to be charging to glory, easily holding Verstappen at bay in the closing laps, for the Williams of Nicholas Latifi to change the course of events. Confusion reigned as race director Michael Massey changed his mind to allow lapped cars to pass the safety car. The race was restarted with one lap to go, with Verstappen on fresh tyres and Hamilton on old ones, and the Dutchman swept by to win the race. This was a second win in Abu Dhabi for Verstappen and a maiden world title for a Dutchman. For Sunday Express, I am Daniel Wahome.
Oh my God!
Time for us now to put a cap on this bulletin so that we can go and salvage what has remained of Jamhuri Day. We'll have this. Before I do, For many former European colonies in Africa, the process of the indigenous taking over and running the government and other sectors, otherwise known as Africanization, was as challenging as was momentous. How did Kenya manage the Africanization of her civil service and other key areas? I will leave you now in the hands of Gashoka Kingori, who has that report.
Following Kenya's independence in 1963, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta's government embarked on a process of Kenyanization, also referred to as Africanization. The aim to make Kenyans embrace identity and ownership of their now independent country.
The main issue was the image of the Mau Mau country, run by the Mau Mau chief, because they used to call Kenyatta the Mau Mau chief. You had to have black people. The ideology or whatever was not the issue. It's the blackness, so that you can say we have our people. And the criteria was anyone who had some qualification of some sort got a job, because there was a shortage of people. And those people who had gone to America and to Britain were now beginning to come back.
That colonial arrangement had to change, so that if it was politics, it would be politics by the rule by majority Africans, who were the rightful owners of the country that was a colony then. And the rest, if they choose to stay, and then they will have to contend with the fact that this is Africa, and the Africans have to rule themselves.
So, why was Africanization critical to a country coming from colonialism?
Hii ilikuwa inasemekana ati ni kitu ya wabeberu. Mkubwa yake Bwana Ndolo naye akisimama hapa sasa, mtatetemeka kuona vile mambo yalivyo. Hebu wapigie suruti moja ya wananchi.
Naturally, there are things that had to be done immediately. Africanization of the fundamental institutions within the state, like the military, the police, the security agencies generally. Because of the nature of this, the process of Africanization was almost immediate.
Were Kenyans ready to take over the running of their country's affairs?
For the administration purposes, those early DCs and DUs, they usually were sent to England for almost a year. So go to Manchester, go to Cambridge, maybe go to another university, to be there for a year to interact with officials and be taught some sort of administration, not to get a degree. So the purpose was not to get a degree, it was to learn how to govern people. So, and that happened on the eve of independence, and slightly there during the transition. So these are the people who became DECs, and because that was the purpose.
It was a balancing out for President Jomo Kenyatta that required him not to be guided by emotions. Addressing white settlers in Nakuru, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta assured them they would not be forced out of their land.
We believe that the Kenya is large enough. Kenya potentiality is great. And all of us, and I'm not telling you this because I'm in your meeting, I'm telling you what I believe and what my government believes. That white, brown, black can work together harmoniously in this country and make this country great.
And Mzee Kenyatta was a politician par excellence. And he had an advantage over the young men who surrounded him. And that the advantage was the wisdom that comes with age. Mzee Kenyatta was much aware of the dominant role
that the white settlers played in Kenya. And he knew very well the capacity to disrupt the economic structures of the new country and put us in a situation where we will probably never come out. And secondly, at that time, he needed some level of acceptance internationally. He needed to have the image of a statesman who believed in human rights, who conducted things in ways that respected others. I know for sure that the radicals around Mzee Kenyatta, particularly those who were young in age, wanted him to pronounce himself and say, from today henceforth, Kenya is an African country meant for Africans by Africans. He could have easily done that. But because of the political wisdom that comes with his experience and wide travel and exposure, I have a feeling that he had to strike a very delicate balance. And he knew very well not many or not all will agree with him on both sides of the divide, on the side of Africans and on the side of white settlers.
This declaration did not go down well with some Kenyans, especially the Mau Mau fighters.
So what you had is Kenyatta was particularly concerned with balance and not rocking the boat. And there is that episode where he addressed the settlers in Nakuru. I'm sure you have heard of it. And it was Njoroge Mungai who told me that story. Very interesting story. So when they were going to Nakuru, he and a few younger people, thinking that they were revolutionaries, advised Kenyatta to tell the Wazungu, mashamba yetu tutachukua. It's our land, we are going to get it. That's what they told him. But when they went there and they were sitting in the audience, Kenyatta just did the opposite. He started laughing with the Wazungu, telling how good they are as Kenyans as we are. Those of you who want to stay, please stay and teach our people to do these things. It's your country. Not the revolutionary thing that they were talking about. And by the end of it, the Wazungus were cheering and dancing Kenyatta's song in Nakuru. So the question came, why did he do that? And according to Njoroge Mungai, after the speech, they went together. And they asked him, what did you do? What was that? And he looked at them, and then he responded and said, first, you did your job. And your job was to advise. You gave me advice, and I listened very carefully. And it was good advice. You gave me advice. That's your job. But making decisions is my job.
And it was not only the civil service and the business sector that had been dominated by the Europeans and Asians. Even roads, schools and hospitals had to change names to be Africanized.
Now, as the country moved towards independence, there was that move to Africanize, to create things you can identify with, and things that don't remind you of the bad colonialism. Among the first was, there used to be a very big statue of Lord Delamere near the New Stanley Hotel, just around that corner. It was brought down, and the Wazungus were not amused, because how can you do that? That avenue used to be called Delamere Avenue, so it was changed, Kenyatta Avenue. And to really create some sort of identity for Africans, to see that they got something. The Uhuru Highway, this one here, used to be called Princess Elizabeth. So it was named Uhuru Highway, and people were happy now they have a highway called Uhuru, not the man. But okay, so, and then there's institutions of education. So Prince of Wales became Nairobi School. Duke of York became Lenana School. Duke of Gloucester became Jamhuri High School.
Which one?
Duke of Gloucester. Duchess of Gloucester became Pangani Girls. Now even the leadership of the schools, you put African principles in these schools to effect the Africanization, and in the process also affect the teaching, the way people looked at things. So this was a deliberate act in order to give Africans a sense of ownership in these institutions. Even the hospital, the King George VI Hospital, it's now called Kenyatta Hospital, National Hospital.
King George? The sixth.
The sixth, yeah. Hospital is the one that was transformed to Kenyatta National Hospital rather than King George. Princess Elizabeth Hospital became Nairobi Hospital.
During the clamor for independence, some leaders were involved in setting the stage for the anticipated transition. Such was the case with Mbio Koinange, who in the 1940s started Githunguri Technical College. Other countries were also involved.
Mbio Koinange, when he started Githunguri Teachers College in the 1930s, in the 1940s, he was talking about training people to take over from the Brits at independence. He had contacts in America, so he was trying to tell them, give us opportunities, trainings, and that, so that when the independence comes, we should be ready.
Kenya is said to have handled its Africanization agenda far much better than most African countries. Congo's case is viewed among the worst. And as Kenya marks her 58th Jamhuri Day, so begs the question, are there gains that can be attributed to what was arguably smooth transition from colonialism to independence?
We gained independence and established a majority African rule at a very disadvantaged position. As you have seen, we were low in terms of everything. We were the lowest echelons of society in politics, in economics, and even in the structures of society. Then we gained independence, and then we are underprivileged in all aspects of life. And then we get into efforts of transiting, working within the confines of the problems that we were facing. If you look at it that way, we did very well. And I will dare say, without any fear of contradiction, that we did very well. Within a very short time of achievement of independence, we started a massive expansion of our school system. We started actually creating high and tertiary training. The origins and development of university education in Kenya, beginning with the University of Nairobi. You see the efforts from immediately from the 60s and the 70s, and by 1974 we had a full-fledged university in Kenya here within the first 10 years of our independence. We had a number of middle-level colleges. It does appear that at the beginning merit counted a lot. And as long as you have your qualifications, you got something. But much later, a few decades later, it changed to the point where merit was questionable. And something, what do we call that thing? The face of Kenya. Which meant that you knock some people off, even if they are qualified. Institutions started going down. So we have universities being closed because of mismanagement. So, but you could not hear that a school or a university in the 1960s or 70s was mismanaged. You could not. And not just that, even the institutions of government. There was, the foundation was good.
The Africanization of the upper levels of the civil service took place extremely fast. For KBC Features, I am Gashoka Kingori.
Kupata sikiza tuni hii ya usifadhaishwe, bonyeza star 811 star 961 hash.
Usifadhaishwe na mafanikio ya wengine ukihisi kwamba maisha yako hayana maana. Kumbuka, wengi huzungumzia tu mafanikio yao na si changamoto walizozipitia na ni mara ngapi walianguka. Tia bidii, muda wako utafika.
Ili kupata sikiza tuni hii ya usifadhaishwe, bonyeza star 811 star 961 hash.
My name is Mohammed Ahmed Mohamud, the CEO of Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation, popularly known as KDIC. The corporation recently increased the protected sum from the previous 100,000 shillings to 500,000 shillings per account. This is the highest in sub-Saharan Africa. In effect, the corporation now covers 99% of the depositors in the unlikely event of a closure of a bank. So KDIC encourages the depositors to continue doing business with our banks that are strong and resilient.
Be sure, check out for a KDIC sticker in your banking hall. KDIC, protecting your deposits.
Sir, do you have any known enemies?
It's that girl. She's up to no good. I don't know why he keeps on saying that the business is as good as dead. And look at these accounts. They are flourishing. My husband is full of surprises.
With you and me together, there's no way we'll lose. This is what someone might call a dream team.
I just want you to be informed, so you make the right choice.
Of course, we still need your opinion.
My opinion?
Son, what happened? This is my family? It's your father. Huh? What happened to my dad?
Make away. Let him
Someone help! Someone help, please! Dad, are you okay?
See your mom.
有一段故事建筑一座城堡，回放进去后就不再打。
The Amazons.
Go
here now. Please, you need to live. Can you hear me?
Mother.
He called me mother. No, no, I'm not your auntie. I am your mother. Mother. I wish you really were, but you are not my mother.
What the hell is going on here?
Nimechoka kutafuta job na hakuna.
Unafikiria mimi nasikiaje? Mimi nimeumia shingo, siwezi hata kufight. Hata unaweza na kubox.
Listen, hakuna mwanamke asha participate kwa underground fights.
Mimi ndiye nitakuwa first. Meleta rent.
Unafikiria naweza chukua hizi chapa?
People, welcome to Save a Life, a program designed in transforming lives, in saving lives. And my name is Joseph Moremi, and today I'm here to thank God for what He has done. I'm in Maroroi, Rasambo constituency, a place called Jadaine, and I'm here to thank God for what He has done. Kama unakumbuka Francis Wafula tulikuwa na yeye hapa, tumetembea. It has been a journey. Mr. Wafula, habari yako?
Mzuri sana.
Nashukuru kuona Mungu umefanya surgery at long last.
Mimi ndio nimeshukuru.
Yes.
Mara nianzia. Ukahakikisha paka utanitoa mahali nilikuwa.
Yes.
Furaha yangu ni kuona na hiyo kazi ulifanya. Mahali nilikuwa mahali pazuri. Na hiyo kwa mazuri kwa raha. Na Mungu alifanya mambo yake. Nashukuru sana kusimama na mimi imara mpaka kumalizia, na ningali bado na kuhitaji kwa neema ya Mungu.
Asante.
Nilienda kwa Sieta, wakanipeleka kwa Sieta, wakanichinja hiyo ugonjwa nilikuwa nayo. Nilitoka huko Jumamosi, sasa niko nyumbani. Namshukuru Mungu kwa yote ile alitenda. Nashukuru Mungu kwa yote mlifanya na mkani mpaka mkaniponya. Na ingali hata nikiuguza hivi nasikia na imani nitapona.
Utapona.
Hiyo furaha yangu ndio hiyo. Shukrani hata mimi nilikuwa nasema Mulemi alienda akanisahau. Mungu bado kumbe ulikuwa nayo kuja kuhakikisha kazi hiyo ulinifanyia.
We thank you, and may God bless you. I almost shed tears when I saw Francis imekuwa ni jani, but nashukuru Mungu. Nashukuru Mungu.
Amen.
Najua utapona. Pe umetoka na pe unaelekea Mungu, God is in control.
Amen.
Na tazidi kutembea na wewe. Na this is what we are doing. This Save a Life, because we believe in transforming lives, saving lives. And this is what we stand for. Na nakukumbusha pale tena tuko na Peter Mugao kutoka pale Tharaka-Nithi. Peter tumekuwa naye pale hospitalini, alianzishiwa matibabu. Imekuwa it has been a long journey because we started with biopsy. Kila wakati akienda, kila wiki akienda ni test hii ni pesa. Kuna madawa anakunywa saa hizi, so treatment is underway. Na bado kuinvestigate more because is a rare condition. So Peter Mogao ndio huyu mnamuona hapa. Tuzidi kutembea na yeye. Ona venye alikuwa pale penye nyumbani ameng'ang'ana, although tulimpeleka hospitali for 2 weeks. Tena tumerudisha nyumbani, anakunywa madawa, but pia treatment dakikana. Leo tukiongea saa hizi alikuwa hospitali. Na pia leo amefanywa test kadhaa. Tutazidi kusimama na yeye. So zidi kusimama na Peter Mogao, na Mungu akubariki. Hello, good people. And as I told you earlier that in Tharaka Nithi County, Tharaka constituency, na leo tunakuja kuelezea story ya Mr. Peter Mogao. Na Mr. Mogao amekuwa mgonjwa kwa muda sasa, na alienda akafanya biopsy na akaambiwa si cancer. But I will still insist that turudie biopsy na tuifanye tena na tena because anaambiwa ni skin disease, but hiyo ugonjwa haijapatikana na hiyo skin disease wajaweza kumanage. So we need to investigate and get to know shida ni nini. So the last time alienda mpaka kabaki ameenda mpaka pale akatoka mpaka aenda Nakuru na akaenda hospitali pale, but pia biopsy ikaleta incomplete. So we'll continue pushing this and ensure that amepata shida ni nini, because you can imagine unagonjeka na ugonjwa inazidi, na ikizidi mpaka shida ijulikani nini. Sasa ukiona hii side, maybe unaweza onesha hii side, unaona hii side yote imekuwa ni kidonda kubwa sana, a very big wound, yeah. So unaona kichwa venye iko, unaona mkono venye iko, so mwili mzima imebadilika, imekuwa ni vidonda. Ni sawa tu, rudisha. So na life yake imekuwa hivi, lakini inaumiza zaidi ni eti anaambiwa ni skin disease, haijapatikana matibabu. It is painful, but anaambia sasa mpaka pesa imekosa, mpaka ya painkiller imekosa. Yeye alikuwa breadwinner, alikuwa anafanya kazi ya bodaboda, but for now he's at home, watoto wadogo. Sasa kazi imebaki ni ya mama ndio anamwangalia, ndio ende vibarua, alimie watu, alafu akuja feed watoto, afeed mzee, na feed pia amjue venye atapata usaidizi wa hospitali. Na sasa ndio ameshindwa because ananiambia mpaka transport kutoka hapa ndio fike Tharaka town imekuwa ni shida. And that's why we are here to save a life. We'll work with him and make sure that tumefanya thorough investigation, tumejua shida ni nini, so that anaweza ensure matibabu, because as per now hakuna matibabu yanaweza fanywa until tujue shida ni gani. So shida ilianzia lini?
Ilianza kitambo, sababu ikuwa hivi, ilianzia kutoka kupitia rent huku, kama hii sasa hii.
Ilianzia hivyo?
Ilianzia hivi, kaenda ikiwa inatoa kama hii, mpaka ikafika hii stage. Iko na kama miaka 10 hivyo.
Miaka 10? Pole sana.
Hata kuna shamba nilikuwa nacho huko eka moja. Ndio niliuza nikaenda hata Nakuru.
Hiyo ndio ulikwenda kufanya hiyo investigation, yeah?
Na pesa ikaisha yote.
Kaisha yote. Na mboi area umeomba sana because sasa imekuwa hauna kazi. Lazima matibabu, lazima chakula.
Hata kitu ya kula ni ile mtu anakuja tu na anakuja kuniona na kitu. Kama nikamjara napikiwa.
You know, I do highlight stories, but such stories inaniguza sana. He's few years younger than me, na ile shida imemsumbua for the almost 10 years. You can imagine. Sasa kuna shamba alikuwa nayo hapa, aliuza yote ndio aweze kufanya hiyo matibabu, na hiyo matibabu ndio ija succeed. So narudi nyuma, kuna ugonjwa, kuna pain. You can imagine. Na pale Nakuru daktari alikuambia aje?
Ndawa tu alinipea. Kuna hiyo chupa ndogo hiyo. Alinipea akaniambia niwe napaka hiyo. Ndio nilikuwa natumia. Kaya kwanza kaanza kugeuka. Nikaona kama napona.
No, umezihanga hapo kwa nini?
Ni watoto tu walichukua wakaweka hapo.
Tuliuza kila kitu, akiwa ameenda hospitali, kila kitu tuliuza, hata kitu ya kula. Ni watu wanatusaidia kukula. Kama mtu anasikia kilio chetu, anakuja kutuona tu. Akija anamuona hivi, kuna mtu anakuja anaansia kulia. Mtu akikuja hivi ataki kukaa karibu na yeye, njua anaogopa. Saa mimi nilimzoea njuu tulikuwa tumekaa na yeye wakati mwingi sana, wakati aligonjeka kwa miaka 10 hivi. Saa nikasema hata mimi sitamwacha. Tuko na watoto 3, 2 wako shuleni na mmoja tu ako na mwezi mmoja hivi. Saa amefikisha mwezi mmoja. Naomba tu watu watusaidie na pesa apate kuenda hospitali, na akipona tutawashukuru sana na Mungu atawabariki. Hii shinda nimesema mimi mwenyewe nitamvumilia mpaka apone na tuendelea na maisha yetu venye tulikuwa tunakaa na yeye mbeleni. Hata mimi niko na stress sana. Hata kulia mimi nalia, naona kama nitaacha peke yangu na watoto. Kuna wakati alikuwa anasema nataka kujinyonga. Nikaanzia kulia, nikamwambia acha kujinyonga. Kuna watu hata walikuwa wananiambia hata nguo ukiwa ni mimi siwezi kufua. Na hayo mimi sikuwa nafuatilia. Walikuwa wananiambia nitagonjeka na hiyo ugonjwa ako nayo. Mtu anasema tu akienda hapo karibu na yeye atagonjeka na hiyo ugonjwa ako nayo. Hata mimi nasikia uchungu sana. Nauliza sasa Mungu, ni hivi ulikuwa unanipangia? Nikasema hapana, utamponesha. Nasikia uchungu sana akiwa amegonjeka hivyo. Kukaa hapa tu tunakaa na yeye huko kwa nyumba. Mara ananiambia niangalie hapa. Namuangalia, nitoe hii na mtoa. Tunakaa hivyo tu.
Today is a day to celebrate because leo tuko na Francis hapa, is a witness of what we are doing. And again nakumbuka Belinda a young girl who is very passionate about transforming lives because ananiambia kuwa daktari. Nataka kushukuru sana Dr. Kilonzo pale St. Mary's because alitupigia akatuambia atatembea na sisi na amesema atafanya surgery ya Belinda na Mungu akubariki. Na pia Belinda alisema ataka pia kwenda shule. Unakumbuka alisema angetaka kuendelea na shule but venye hali ni mbaya. So bado tukizidi kusupport Belinda na Mungu akubariki because we want to work with his family even after surgery. Tutembea na yeye. Na Dr. Kilonzo tunaendelea kufanya kazi nzuri ya Mungu akubariki. For now let's continue supporting Belinda. Paybill number ni ile 6600054. Account andika Belinda na Mungu akubariki. Hii ni story ya Belinda na Belinda tutatembea na yeye even after surgery tutakuwa na yeye. Belinda, uko class?
Uko class 7.
Class 7?
Ndio.
Ukiwa mkubwa unataka kuwa nini?
Ndoto yangu ni kuwa mkubwa, natamani kuwa daktari.
You want to be a doctor? Tugonjeka lini?
Ni miaka nimegonjeka miaka mingi. Naumwa kwa mwaka, kila mwaka lazima utagonjeka. Na ukigonjeka hakuna kuamka, hakuna kusimama, yani vile umelala ni hivyo hadi vile itarelezi itakuachilia ndio amkego uende uoge. Ikisha hiyo kidonda inatokeanga kwa hizo vitu, ikisha toboka hapo utakuwa fruta, unaweza fanya kazi yoyote kama mtu mzima tu. Tena ikifika mwezi mwingine ni hivyo. Sasa imeendanga tu hivyo kila mwaka. Sasa nimekuja kuona mwaka yenyewe lisha haikufanya, ni kufaint. Sasa sijui shida ni gani yenye imeniguza. Ukikaa unaona hewa imekuishia, unaanza kupumua tu kama mtu mwenye anakohoa, mkono zinakuja nguma, uweze achilia, imeshikana kabisa hadi unajipata umezimia. Siku niligonjeka sana ilikuwa 2019 mwezi wa 7 tarehe 12 hadi tarehe 15. Ndio niliumwa sana, hata kutembea, hata kusimama siwezi, hata kula appetite hakuna. Hiyo tu. Lakini kwa shule mimi napenda kwenda kwa shule. Kuna siku nililalia kufika shule. Tena shule nafika mapema. Ningependa kusoma lakini mama ana uwezo. Mimi mwenyewe kuna siku nilijipata kama nimepita top 10 na kuanga tuko top 10 mbele. Max nifikishanga 200 nikikuelekea 300. Ningependa kusoma lakini sababu ya magonjwa inarudisha nyuma kila mwaka. Hata mwingine inaweza pass kama hujafika shule. Ni hivyo tu. Tunateseka na nyanya nyumbani, hatuna uwezo, hatuna chochote nyumbani. Ni hivyo tu. Mama pia anahangaika, tunaangalia mama tu, ndio tegemeo ya maisha yetu. Hata mimi nilikuwa nasema vile mama ana uwezo, mimi nisome tu, nikimaliza kila zaidi nijifunze tu kazi yote ya mikono, hata kama kushona charani, hata kama kushuka, niweze kusaidia mamangu, tushikilie wadogo wangu wakaweza kusoma, wanaweza inua kama mamangu kimaisha huko mbeleni. Mimi nampenda Mungu, hakuna siku nilikosa kufika kanisa. Hata kama sijafika kanisa, Biblia nalala naye hapo. Lazima nisome verse moja na niombe ndio nilale. Lakini najua Mungu amesimama na mimi. Mungu ndiye anaye okoa. Najua Mungu ameniokoa mahali nimefikia hapa, nitapona. Lakini ni kupitia kwa Wakenya, mnisaidie nikaweza kupona. Mkinisaidia nipone, na hakika mimi pia kuna mwenye nitasaidia.
Unatumani utapona?
Mimi mwenye ananitazama namwambia tu akaweza kunisaidia kapata uponyaji. Nitashukuru sana nikipona. Juu hata vile tunaonekana hivi hatuna chochote, hatuna hata mwanzo, hatuna mbele wala nyuma, tuko tu.
Mama ameniambia shosho ako na shida sana.
Ako na shida. Hata nyanya akianza kugonjeka yangu na ikanga nyuma. Naanza kutafuta simu tuambie kwa mama. Na hata mama tukimwambia ana uwezo. Tukiambia wajomba wengine wanasema ngati mama yenyewe ng'ang'ane vile aliwaweka hapo. Sasa tunakanga tu. Dadangu mwenye anifuata na kwanga naishi huku na mama. Na mimi sasa mama akaamua nirudishe niende nisaidie nyanya. Sasa nyanya akigonjeka yangu naeka nyuma tunasaidiana na ndugu yangu mwenye anafuata dadangu mkubwa mwenye ananifuata ako na 12 years. Ndio tunasaidiana na yeye. Kusaidia nyanyangu akipona. Nipe ikikuja nyanyangu ana sawi yake. Anatafuta vile nitapona.
So leo niko Maroi na Maroi kwa Nairobi County. Na leo tuko hapa na Mr. Wafula. Mr. Wafula, the last time nilimuona, it has been months now, alikuwa na growth, na hii growth ilikuwa na shimo, na tukasema tutembea na yeye. Na leo tuko hapa ku celebrate what God has done. Amefanya hiyo surgery na Mungu akubariki, tuzidi kufanya hii kazi ya Mungu. Nakumbusha bado tulitoka pale Meru, tulikuwa na Isabella. Isabella amekuwa mgonjwa for quite some time, na venye aligonjeka Bwana akamwacha. Isabella tulimchukua, saizi yako hapa Kenyatta na ako under treatment, na tuzidi pia kumsupport na kumwombea, na Mungu akubariki. Mungu akubariki. Tulimpeleka akafanywa zile test, akaambiwa shida ni shida ya cardiac, ni ya roho. That's why anafura tumbo. Saizi ametolewa maji na bado anaendelea kufanywa investigation more vile anaweza saidika. Saizi yako Kenyatta, na Mungu awabariki sana as you continue to support Isabella. Saizi yako Kenyatta, may God bless you. And I know next time to celebrate, tukienda pale, tukirudi pale Meru, tuta celebrate venye tuta celebrate about Francis. Na tuombea para Francis na apone na arudi sawa. Unaona Francis ndo amekuwa na nguvu. Na Mungu akubariki sana, because we don't give because we have a lot. We give because Mungu ametupea kitu ya kupeana. And you know what? It's more blessed to give than to receive. Give, no ombe Mungu azidi kukuzidishia, ndio uzidi kusaidiana. May God bless you. Tuzidi kufanya kazi ya Mungu, and as you celebrate this Christmas, be a blessing to someone there. Someone who cannot repay you back. Someone that utasema useme hii ni kazi ya Mungu, and serve it. May God bless you as you purpose to support. Remember, ukisupport Isabella, paybill number ni ile 600054. Account andika Isabella. God bless you. Tumefika hapa, nimeambiwa ni Central Imenti constituency. Nikaambua akatano kanaitwa Shania town, na leo nimetembelea Isabella Mwendwa. Amekuwa mgonjwa zaidi ya miaka 3 sasa, na shida yake imekuwa ni hiyo tumbo.
Nimezaliwa hapa tu Ngumbo, lakini kwetu ni Saindile ingine. Mama yangu ni mzee sana, naenda na nini na Bimbo. Alafu nikaona alafu dada yangu akaona nikikaa hapo hakuna mtu wa kufulia mwingine nguo, hakuna mtu wa kufikia mwingine. Sasa akasema kwa anichukue. Sasa nikakaa hapa, lakini kwanza nilikuwa nimeolewa. Alafu mahali nilikuwa
Mama nikigonjeka, yani mzee alisema aninipeleka hospitali 2,000. Alafu kutoka hapo akasema hiyo ugonjwa uponi na nitaki tena nitoke kwake. Alafu ndio nilitoka. Alafu sister yangu akanichukua nikakaa hapa. Alafu sasa hiyo nilikuwa ninalia, sasa nikasema nitaenda wapi? Mama yangu hana kitu, baba yangu alikufa. Nikashindwa sasa nitaenda wapi? Lakini kwa imani ya Mungu, dada yangu alisikia huruma akanichukua. Kutoka mwezi wa 5 nilikuwa nimekaa hapa, hata kumsaidia siwezi msaidia, hakuna kitu ninafanya. Yeye ndiye anatupikia, anatafuta chakula. Sasa hivi nataka kwenda kliniki, ndiye ananipatia pesa ya kuenda. Saa zingine tunaenda kliniki